Across the state of Oklahoma, it's time for Oklahoma Sports Scene. And back, as he should be, our co-host, Gil Cloud, the Hall of Famer, Tulsa High School Public Schools Athletic Director, and a guy with a new right knee, Coach.
New right knee, new left knee, new right hip. I'm good to go.
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
you bet. Got to be tough playing this league.
You are Superman, I'll tell you, Coach. So 2 new knees
and a new hip. Right.
Yeah, you know, 1,000 miles, at least 100,000 miles more on you, right?
Oh, absolutely, no question.
Got a great show today. A lot of important guests, starting with some NFL news.
NFL news at camp opens. We'll have Steve August here, and he'll talk about what he thinks will happen in the NFL. And, of course, he'll give us a little bit of insight about the Retired Players Association raising money in the state of Oklahoma.
We got Big 12 Media Days, also American Athletic Conference Media Days, and highlights of some of that. You want to hear about Mike Gundy talking about his mullet. Bixby High School football coach Loren Montgomery and his star wide receiver and defensive back Brennan Presley, a recent OSU commit. He's going to be joining us as well. And a national championship soccer.
National champion Christian Porto, a national championship back-to-back.
Wow.
Tulsa Hurricane soccer, undefeated this year, and has players from all over the state of Oklahoma that represent them at the national level.
And our friend Malcom McCollam, of course, you know him by Tulsa Tough. He's also been very involved with the Tour de France. Was actually over there in France and took part of some of the tour activities in past years. We'll have an interesting insight from Malcom on the Tour de France still going on over there, the greatest bicycle race in the world. Coach, hot topics though, and again we go international over to Ireland. What a weekend, huh?
I tell you what, the British Open. Of course, I was rehabbing, fortunately, I couldn't sleep much because it came on at 1:30 in the morning.
That's right.
So I got it from first tee shot to last ball in the hole for 4 days. But what a great tournament, and how good for Shane Lowry to be able to be in the parking lot a year ago crying because he didn't make the cut and to win the tournament this year. He only won $1.7 million.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
They said there was no drama, but there was a lot of emotion when it came to the Open Championship because he was amazing. He won by 6 shots, put it away early on, and first time that Northern Ireland's hosted in about 70 years. So
68 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 68
Just incredible. Mentioned NFL camps open. Steve August is going to join us in the next section to talk about pro football. And All-State Week, Coach, coming up in Tulsa, already underway.
This week, we're Wednesday night, and we have All-State games at Oral Roberts, and of course the All-State football game will be on Friday night at Bixby. And it's a great week for sports. In my parting shot, I'm going to have a little bit to say about what I think we ought to do in the future. But it's always been a great week. You have about 7,000 coaches from across the state that come into Tulsa. And this is really their last hurrah because when they go back, it's busy time. It's time to start.
Well, it all started this week in Tulsa. The Oklahoma Coaches Association Hall of Fame banquet held at the Marriott Southern Hills. And Coach, 10 inductees and some friends of yours I know.
Well, there were 3 that I really want to mention. Martha O'Rourke, outstanding cross-country and track coach at Jenks High School and Lincoln Christian. 12 state championships through her career as a coach and so on. Jim Cherry coached at Tulsa Edison. He also coached at Victory Christian. Over 176 wins as a head football coach. And what a great representative for our profession. And the last one really is an old friend, Lou Henson from Oklahoma. Finally got in the Oklahoma Coaches Hall of Fame. We're so happy that he got in. And really, he is very historic in that he is the only Division I head basketball coach to have his name on 2 courts, New Mexico State and the University of Illinois.
Another one going to the Oklahoma Coaches Hall of Fame, Mark Dykus, led prior, right, 2016 state fast pitch softball. And so others inducted, I want to give them credit. Anadarko boys basketball coach Doug Shumpert, Midwest City Carl Albert baseball coach Wayne Dozier, former Davis football coach, is that Jody Weber? Fredericks Ed Jones, Bill Carter from Marlow, Purcell's Randy Bellick, and Kevin Foster from Blanchard. And our own retired J.B. Haney is part of that group, right?
Well, J.B. was past president of the Oklahoma Coaches and also a member of the Oklahoma Coaches Hall of Fame.
Back in the 1980s, he went in the Hall of Fame there. Well, high school football is around the corner, Coach. Some important dates to talk about for high school football kids.
August 12th is the day that we can go out and start practice. Obviously, you can have limited practice through the summer, weight training and pride programs and so on. First 4 days and non-pads. On Friday, they can pad up the 16th. and the following Thursday and Friday will be the first scrimmage weekends, and so it's upon us. I mean, summer's over, you know.
Talk about the great event here in Tulsa. I always look forward to it. How many years now for the All-City?
77,
Wow.
the Grady Skirlin 77th annual All-City preview. I can remember as a high school junior moving to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and saying, well, they're going to have the All-City preview, and we're going to play over at Skelly Stadium. And I said, well, what is it? He said, well, it's a scrimmage. And there were 25,000 people there. I said, my goodness, these people in Oklahoma take football seriously. But what a great event for our schools. 8 of our 9 schools will be in the All-City. We have asked Booker T to be out of that because they are a 6A.
Right.
They're the only 6A in there. It doesn't help them to play 5As and 4A schools. And so it makes it very competitive for our 4 and 5A schools. And now our configuration has changed. We'll now have 5 5A schools, with Rogers moving into 5A. And then we'll have the 3 3A schools, 4A schools. So, but that'll be the 22nd, 23rd of August, and we'll be at stations all over, stadiums all over the city. That news release will be out next week.
And the season kicks off on August 29th. Some of the games: Tulsa Central at U.S. Grant, August 30th, McLean at Victory Christian, Webster at Hale that night, August 31st, Booker T against that versus North Little Rock. That's in Bentonville.
That's Bentonville, right? And that's a 1 o'clock start, and that's really going to be a good football game, I think. Bentonville's very, very competitive football team, and I know that Booker T wanted to go out, kind of like we're going to hear from Loren, Montgomery later on. They play Mansfield, Texas, and I think Broken Arrow is playing a Texas team, and so I think you have to go out and play some different people.
Updating the Tulsa Roughnecks for you now. They're winless since April 24th. They have 2 home matches, though, coming up this week. One Oak Field, July 24th against the LA Galaxy. Then on Saturday, July 27th, against the top team in the league, against Phoenix Rising. Both those kick at 7:30. Drillers update. They're riding well in the standings right now, early on in the second half of the season. They're on the road the rest of this month of July. Then they return home the start of August with a 7-game homestand. And congratulations to our Tulsa Oilers head coach, Rob Murray, got a well-deserved new contract.
Really glad for Rob. I think he did a heck of a job this past year, and what a passionate individual for his players to take care of them, and I think that paid off in the playoffs. They just literally at that point ran out of gas at the end.
Right. 2-year extension for Coach Murray, of course, who had an incredible 42, 24, and 6 regular season. Took the Oilers to the Mountain Division title, advanced to the Western Conference Finals, and all the way to the 7th game there. Tulsa's first division title since 1975-76. We'll be back to talk NFL football, TU football, with the former Tulsa Golden Hurricane All-American and NFL first-round draft choice, Steve August. Stay with us.
Cheers. All right, y'all, how's everything tasting?
That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
TU fans, football season is here, and the Golden Hurricane has one of the best home schedules in school history. Season tickets are on sale now, or purchase our 3-game mini plan. The plan includes in-state rival Oklahoma State, along with Navy on Military Appreciation Game, and 2-time defending league champion UCF, all for only $90. To get your tickets, call 918-631-GO-TU or visit TulsaHurricane.com/tickets.
Back on Oklahoma Sports Scene, talking NFL football. Training camps are open, many of them underway. Others will be finishing up and starting in the next week or so. But joining us now is a guy who knows all about that in years past. Steve August was a great TU football All-American, #1 round draft choice of the Seattle Seahawks. In fact, he was the 14th overall player taken in 1976. Played 102 straight games at right tackle. That impressed me. See, that's an amazing run there. What a football career in the NFL. What's it like now as the camp's open? What's it like for these guys?
Well, I guess it depends on where you were drafted for these young guys. The higher draft picks, at least the first round guys, they're fairly safe, but everybody else coming in there, you just don't know if you're going to make the team. And even the veterans coming in, unless you were a starter, it's up in the air whether you're going to be able to make the team. So they come in with, I don't know how many they come in with now, but they have doubled probably the amount of players.
It was really interesting you say that. You remember Charlie Harper?
Yes.
Charlie Harper's a real good friend of mine. His kids played for us at Union, and he said that when he was with the Giants, that Allie Sherman every year said, "Harper, I've got a guy coming in and take your place." And he said, "You know what, Coach? Bring him on, because I don't have anywhere to go but Broken Arrow."
Well, again, the camp's opening underway now, and now's the time they're going to try to sort out who's pretending, who's not, and stuff. But you have to follow some of our top draft choices. Of course, Kyler Murray down in Arizona. People are going to be watching him very carefully.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for big things to happen in Arizona. They've struggled a lot recently, and we'll see if he can cut it. I think he definitely has the ability, and seeing what Baker Mayfield, how his adjustment has been to the NFL, I think that Kyler can do it.
It's amazing, Steve, I think, because of what we used to go by. If you didn't pass the eye test, you didn't even get drafted. If you weren't 6'4" and 250 pounds, whatever. And now we've changed, and what do you think? What has caused that in the NFL? The change in offensive philosophies and the types of players that they draft.
Yeah, well, that's I think one of the downfalls of trying to put a team together is if you're trying to make them fit your plan. Sometimes you can't find those guys, and I think that every once in a while you get players that are drafted that don't pass that eye test. For whatever reason, someone's going to take a chance, like a Steve Largent was, because he wasn't a high draft pick, and he wasn't fast, he wasn't big. If you see him on the street, you don't even know that he's ever played sports. But one of the best, most competitive, best athletes that I've played with over the years. And there's a ton of guys like that, and Baker Mayfield's like that, and Kyler Murray, because of his size, he doesn't fit the bill. So I think if coaches would be a little bit go away from that, pass the eye test and look at, what does he do? Is he productive?
Right.
Is he a team player? Is he going to be a positive influence on that team and not be a me guy? there's all those factors.
6'4" doesn't mean much if you don't have this right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's got to be in there.
First camp opened July 17th. That was Kyler Murray's Arizona Cardinals. A couple of local teams you've been interested in. The Kansas City Chiefs rookies report on the 23rd. Then veterans on the 26th. Dallas Cowboys go to Oxnard, California, July 21st.
How about that?
Why they just opened that incredible star there in Texas, right outside Dallas there.
They don't have to go suffer in any heat.
And they go to Oxnard. Why do they go to Oxnard every year?
I don't know. That's nice as a player to have to go out there and not face any 100-degree temperature you see in Texas.
Well, it's a very big season, historic season for the National Football League. You see, the 100th year of the National Football League starts with the Hall of Fame game August the 1st, Canton, Ohio. And that kind of gets the whole season kicked off, though.
Yeah, I'm excited about get the season started and see what happens this year. Hope my Seahawks can pull it out. And they've lost a few players, but they still got Russell Wilson, and he's a big-time playmaker. Plus, they got the local guy Tyler Lockett, who is a phenomenal receiver.
You and Steve stay pretty close to the program there, right? Up there in Seattle?
He's up there quite a bit.
Right,
He's there a lot. I don't go every year. I go up every once in a while, but they're always in touch with you. They have an alumni weekend every year, and I try to go to that every 3 or 4 years.
What do you think is the team to beat in the National Football League this year?
Well, I don't know. It's I was surprised at how the Rams, how they finished that last game.
No kidding.
And so, I think they've still got a chance to do it, but you can't count out the Patriots. But there's somebody else out there that someone's going to have, a really good year. The Saints, Breeze is still, a great quarterback. Those guys were all in the final games there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those guys come through there. I don't really have a favorite yet, although my Seahawks. That's the favorite.
Right.
We'll see.
Steve, your National Football League alumni group here has been very active, done a great job of fundraising. I've always had a fun time hosting that big gala out there. You got that coming up again on September the 8th at the Hard Rock Casino. The NFL Player Association, the alumni group, I should say, having a big charity event. And Gil Cobb's happy about it too, because it benefits the high school kids,
Well,
right?
I tell you, this group has done so much for high school athletics in the state of Oklahoma, and really have focused on in working with them on schools and individuals that really need those funds.
Right.
We developed a criteria to apply for these grants and that the money that they raise, and I think it goes to schools that really are downtrodden a little bit financially and need those funds.
Tell us a bit more about the event, September 8th and September 9th.
Yes, well, first of all, thank you for your help these years doing that. You've been a great help to our group, and we appreciate that. We start off on Sunday. We get together and have the banquet.
The gala,
we have an auction, a gala banquet, which is what you've emceed over the years. And it's a fun time. You get to mingle with the players, and most of our players make it in that night. And the ones from out of town will stay overnight at the hotel. And then we start off the next morning with golf at the course there, and it's just, it's always been real good. We moved it into September from an August start because of the heat.
Yeah.
And so it's been a great, the Hard Rock has been a good help for us, the Cherokee Nation, so we really appreciate them and their support in this golf tournament.
How can someone become a part of that?
Well, I tell you, we've got, we're doing it ourselves this year, and so Gene Barrett is our president, and he's been in charge of it, and I know that he's got the bank that he works with, and I think they're one of the big sponsors here. Chris, do you see him on
First
there?
Oklahoma Bank.
First
Coach,
Oklahoma Bank out of Jenks, and I'm sure you can get a hold of Gene at the bank. I know there's some numbers on here, Chris. I don't have my readers on, so if you want to help me with that. But Gene Barrett's been our president of the former Players Association, and he has a group that he's working with that is out of the bank, and we're in always welcome people that want to come in and help us out.
I think Mr. and Mrs. Bennett have been very people.
The Bennett family, they've been great. So
we'll get that phone number and also a email address or a website address up on the screen for you here to talk about it's the Kickoff Charity Golf Classic, September 8th and the 9th at the Hard Rock Casino at the Cherokee Hills Golf Course. Get out and support that. Before we let you leave, Steve, what about your alma mater, the University of Tulsa?
Well,
looking for a bounce back year.
I'm hoping that happens. We've got, I was just reading, the Fick magazine they put out, that Vite puts out. And I was reading a little bit about them, and I'm hoping the quarterback. We've sort of been a little bit void there for the last couple of years. And TU, when we've had great teams, we've had great quarterbacks, and that's sort of what gets it going. Plus, you have to have a decent defense so that we can outscore them. So I'm looking for them to bounce back, and this Baylor kid, hopefully he can come in but they say they got this freshman in here that's supposed to be unbelievable. From I think it's from California. I don't know if he'll push him for that starting job. But
there's something for Steve here.
Steve, come back to Bricktown anytime on us.
Thank you, Gil. Appreciate that. Appreciate you guys and your help with the NFL Players Association.
Steve August, Tulsa All-American football player and an NFL star with the Seattle Seahawks for so many years, and joining us now, and glad to have him on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Enjoy the football season coming up.
Thank you.
We're going to come back, a lot more football from the Big 12 and the American Athletic Conference Media Days. Stay with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The service is amazing.
Food's delicious.
I love the avocado fries.
I love the energy.
Local beer, great food, truly friendly service.
Look all right for you?
Bricktown Brewery, come and get it.
Man, look, for us, Cowboy football is way more than just Cowboy football. This is who we are. We come to Boone Pickens Stadium as many. but in this sea of orange, we stand as one. And we all know what it looks like. The crowd roaring, arms waving, and bullet flying. It's the paddles popping, the shotgun firing, and the fans rocking. It's our passion, our heart, our family, and our team. Because at Oklahoma State, it's who we are.
Each week we talk about the GTR, and we know for a fact that Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon put out a tremendous paper. Well, I brought all 6 of them today. I'd like for you to see them. The Union Boundary, and here is the Owasso Rambler. And if you live in Bixby, how about the Bixby Breeze or Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Express, Jinx, District Gazette, and then of course the Tulsa Midtown. All of those, the GTR. If you haven't had an opportunity to read one, do it, and you'll be proud of it.
Big 12 football media days were held at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas, July 14th and 15th. We heard from the coaches earlier. Now let's hear from a couple of the players. We had a chance to pick up from Fox Sports as Sarah Merrifield talked with OU's receiver CeeDee Lamb and with Oklahoma State defensive back A.J. Green.
The CD, well, let's just go ahead and state the obvious. OU tabbed to be a preseason leader in this conference. With that target on your back mentality, does that give you extra motivation going into the season? Do you like having that mentality going into the season?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like you have a target on your back, you have to play for something. We for the last 2 years, we've done a great job of winning, and I feel like we've earned that. Just this offseason, we got to take it up a notch, push each other each and every day, to hold each other accountable. And with Coach Wiley as the head strength coach, there's no slacking off.
Offensively speaking, OU has produced some incredible quarterbacks as of late. You got the Baker Mayfields, the Kyler Murrays, and now Jalen Hurts coming in. As a receiver, how does catching and playing with guys like that make you a better receiver and then just make you a better offense?
As a receiver, I feel like it's easier because obviously you have a great mind in the backfield that knows a lot about the game, great knowledge, and as an offense, we all lean on him. He's the brains of the offense. He lead us. He's gonna lead the charge. Whoever's back there at QB.
And in terms of this conference, it's only getting more competitive. What's the secret ingredient or the key to keeping that competitive edge to stay on top?
Take it one game at a time and try to dominate our opponent. That's all. There's no secret recipe. Just come out and play our hardest. That's all we can do.
Well, looking at the secondary going into the season, what do you feel sets your secondary apart from the rest of the conference?
We gel together, we bond, we spend a lot of time off the field together, and I feel like we have a lot to prove coming off the 7-6 season. We know we are capable of more, and we want to prove that.
New defensive coordinator and Jim Knowles coming into this team. What's the group reaction to him and how he's shaping this defense?
First year was kind of rough, but this year we know his concept, we know what he wants to do scheme-wise, and we're ready to buy in.
And in terms of you being a leader in on this team, what are your expectations for the team as a whole and then your senior class?
For my senior class and the team as a whole, I just want us to give our best foot forward and everybody and prepare mentally as if it's their last year. Not only me as a senior, knowing this is my last year, I just want everybody go hard and prepare and put their best foot forward.
What are you most looking forward to as well in this season?
Just go out there and have fun. One last ride, it's my last year. Just leave it all out there on the field and hopefully win a Big 12 championship.
And really the big question of the year in the Big 12 for Mike Gundy, will you or will you not have the mullet?
I thought about actually getting a haircut yesterday, but it was Sunday and they were closed. So I decided to go ahead and wing it. I don't know anymore. It's hard for me at times to decide what I'm going to do the next day until I get into the season. So just kind of hang out and go with it, As long as it makes me look a little younger. If somebody said it makes you look old, I'll probably cut it.
So we don't know if the barbershop in Stillwater will have a historic haircut.
Who knows with Coach Schopel on the sidelines. We'll be watching Mike Gundy on the sidelines. That's the kind of the wrap for the Big 12 Media Days. Now let's go to the American Athletic Conference Media Days. They were held up in Newport, Rhode Island, again July 14th and 15th. At Media Day, and they had their media poll come out. And Coach, they went real kind to the University of Tulsa.
Well, they picked Tulsa last. Of course, they picked them last year.
That's
and
right.
I think Coach Montgomery's got some things up his sleeve that they're going to be able to with some of the people they've recruited this past year, the new ones in, and of course we got the Baylor quarterback, former Baylor quarterback. So we'll see what happens. But what has really impressed me over the last 2 or 3 years is the level of talent in the AAC.
No doubt.
It's gone up. The football is more important, I think, than it was 5-6 years ago.
Look at their media poll, by the way. Take a look at the Eastern Division, and by the way, that's the strongest one. Central Florida is number 1, Cincinnati 2, South Florida is 3, followed by Temple, Eastern Carolina, and UConn. Then Tulsa in the West, Coach.
Well, of course, I mean, you got Memphis, which is no slouch. Houston, which opens their season with Oklahoma. Tulane, SMU, Navy, and then Tulsa last.
The American Athletic Conference far and away has the best media days because they have it on Newport, Rhode Island, a gorgeous place, and they have a clam bake. Lobsters, clams, the whole works, corn, all served to the football players, the media gathering to cover the teams.
If you had one idea to enhance the safety of this game, and it's on everybody's mind, do you have one concept that you would like to see applied, or is this game as safe as it can be?
Right, but I love the direction that we're going with our officiating right now. I thought we took a big step in the right direction last year. I want to coach better. I want my players to play better, and I want officials to officiate better. I think we're all on the same page, wanting the same thing. We know we're not going to get it right every time. We want to make sure that we get those calls that are obvious and they jump out at you. We know we're going to miss a holding here. We're going to miss this there. But get the big ones and continue to be upfront about when we miss things. When I make a bad call, I'm going to be upfront about it. When they make a bad call, let's be upfront about it. And I think when you do that, you have an opportunity to be on the same page and that relationship to continue to grow.
I approach this from old fogey status. I am not a user of social media. I'm going to get through the end of my life and probably never hit send because I think it's the most dangerous 4-letter word in the English language now. Forget the F word. Is the presence of social media a concern to you guys as coaches?
When our guys they're on campus, they're out having lunch somewhere, having dinner somewhere, you got to remember that everybody's got a camera on them. And it's not just what you put on social media, but it's what somebody else can put on social media about you. And so it's all about representing yourself and your family and our family from a university standpoint in the right way and making sure that as you put stuff out there, it's going to be there forever. And it's going to come back and you see it every year. Whether you're talking about the draft, you're talking about something going on in baseball, something that happened back when you were in high school, those things don't go away. And it's going to be part of you. So you got to be very thoughtful about what you put out. You talk about family, and it's really big around our place, just like it is, I'm sure, around everybody's. But, as these young men come in within your program, they become part of your family. They become your sons, and you are responsible for it. And as we prepare and look for the future here, we're always talking about, I know your number one dream right now is to go play in the NFL, but we're not going to have a 1 and a 2. Getting your degree is going to be right up there at the top of it. And we've got to make sure that we're in daily pursuit of that, and we're going to hold you accountable to that. And we want our parents to be involved in that process as well. So as we go through this journey of getting our degree, we're all going to go hand in hand, and we're going to make sure that we get that done, because at the end of the day, that's what you came to college for, and that's what's going to set you apart. And you may be the first one in your family to ever have the opportunity to do that.
University of Tulsa opens their season 2019, and Michigan State should be a heck of an opening game for them.
That's August 30th, a Friday night. It'll be on FS1 at 6 o'clock Tulsa time. TU players, by the way, report on July the 31st. Practice starting the next day. The first full day in pads is August 3rd. You Hurricane fans, by the way, August 13th at noon is your time. That's the Golden Hurricane Football Kickoff Luncheon, a new venue this year. River Spirit Casino, the Grand Ballroom. Get out there, support your Golden Hurricane. Back from Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay right there.
TU OU fans, football season is here, and the Golden Hurricane has one of the best home schedules in school history. Season tickets are on sale now, or purchase our 3-game mini plan. The plan includes in-state rival Oklahoma State, along with Navy on Military Appreciation Game, and 2-time defending league champion UCF, all for only $90. To get your tickets, call 918-631-GO-TU or visit TulsaHurricane.com/tickets.
I bring Tulsa's voice to Oklahoma City and Washington. I build relationships with elected officials and community stakeholders to develop policies that grow the Tulsa region. I loved my time at Rogers State University. The personal relationships I developed with professors really helped develop a skill set that would help me serve the Tulsa region that I care about. It all started for me at Rogers State University.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. We have two special guests from Bixby, Oklahoma. The head football coach is the defending 6A2 state champion, Loren Montgomery, Coach Montgomery, and his player, Brennan Presley, who has committed to Oklahoma State.
Congratulations, guys, and good to have you with us again, Loren. Last time you were here, you had a gold ball with you.
Yeah.
The championship. Give us a little update on Bixby High School. You guys had a great run.
Well, it's always good to be on the show, first off, so thank you, because generally when we're on the show, we've had something positive happen to us. And most recently, Brennan has committed to Oklahoma State. And I tell you what, we're having a busy summer. A lot of things going on. We finished a couple of 7-on-7 tournaments. And those of you guys that have coached a little bit know that as soon as we get back from 4th of July, it's pretty much go time.
Brennan, congratulations on the career to the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I know a lot of people wanted you with all your credentials as far as a receiver and defensive back. Where does OSU think they'll play you? And tell us about that recruiting process.
OSU will play me at the slot receiver position, and the recruiting process can get a little bit hectic sometimes. You know, you kind of get a little bit stressful. You know, not knowing where you're going to go or something like that. Right. You know, different coaches saying this and that. So it's really just a bit, trust factor and stuff. And I think OSU is a step in the right direction.
What did it come down to for the Cowboys?
I've always kind of been a Cowboy fan, so it kind of just hit home when they did it, and just being close to home, having my family be able to see me, and all the people down here being able to go up there and see me anytime. It was just can't miss opportunity.
Well, Brennan was the 25th rated prospect in the state of Oklahoma for the class of 2020. Amazing credentials here. 13th prospect of Oklahoma State's class. They have 6 in-state prospects the Cowboys have signed. And some of his stats, he led the 6A2 state title, Bixby Spartans here. 67 catches, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 4 touchdowns against Muskogee. A big game there in that one. Caught 6 passes for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns against Sapulpa. And of course, an all-world, all-state first-team selection. Quite a resume there. And again, you got to be awful proud of this guy. How incredible has he been for you, and how important has he been in your senior year here?
Well, he's just been incredible ever since he came into our program as a freshman. He's made big plays immediately. And if you come to one of our games, you'll notice there aren't many players that don't come off the field. Well, Brennan is that guy. He returns kicks, he returns punts. He led our team in interceptions last year. We play him at running back, we play him at slot, and he does everything for us. But more importantly than that, he's a leader amongst our team. He sets a tempo with his work ethic, and you just couldn't ask for a better kid.
So what do you think? I see the preliminary ADM numbers are out.
Yeah.
And you get to stay in 6A2 again. Yeah. Is that a good thing or bad?
Well, I was just reading the article about that before we came in, and you said preliminary, and so there are still a few things that have to shake out before September, and we know we grow in Bixby, and I don't know, it's been a little uneasy as far as making our preseason schedule, and we're still looking for a game in the 2021 cycle and the week 2 or 3, because we have one team that dropped us, so. I am glad that came out though, and just kind of gave us a heads up on where we would fall, and that'll help with scheduling hopefully.
Brennan, I couldn't help but notice you're not even the most famous athlete in your family. Talk about your older sister, Brandy, down at Ole Miss, and what she was just involved in.
She was running in the Pan American Junior Olympics down in Costa Rica, and she got third in the 100. I think she would have won, but like she had a bum ankle, and then in the 4x1 they got first overall. So I'm just amazingly proud of her of like what she's done. But I'm kind of not surprised because she's always, had this in her. So I just knew it was a matter of time before, other people started to notice too.
And she was the anchor leg for that 4x100
yes,
team up for the United States. So head to the Tokyo Olympics in a year, do you think? Is that her goal, one of her goals?
Yes, sir. I think her goal is to make the Olympics, and then, after she does that, if she does good enough, go pro after that. But I think, anything she wants to do, it's within her sights, and, she'll work hard enough to get to it. So I think she'll get it.
Now, are there any more Presleys in the pipeline coming up to head to Bixby or anything? Any more brothers or sisters? Or is this it?
I have a brother that's a sophomore that he plays as a freshman, and then I have a little brother who's going to 6th grade. So he'll get there after my brother that's a sophomore graduates.
You must love the Presley family.
Well, I tell you what, some really good athletes, and I love the competition amongst each other. When one of them posts an accomplishment online, the other comes back, usually Brandy, and she tells them that she's the best athlete in the family. So it's such a fun family, and Brennan's such a good kid. We couldn't be more happy for him.
Coach Montgomery, I brag on him, but 4th gold ball in this past season. He's had 30 Division 1 AA players leave his program. Former Jenks assistant with the great friend Alan Trimble, part of 8 state 6A titles there at Jenks. But I tell you, Coach, who does your scheduling? I see you open 2019, 3 straight road games. August the 30th, Mansfield, Texas. September 6th at Jenks. September 13th, a home opener finally, but not until the 27th against Sapulpa.
Well, to be honest with you, I'd like to blame that on someone else, but a couple years ago when we were at the clinic and we set all this up, our 3rd game is against Putnam City Original, and they had a scheduling conflict. There are multiple schools at a multiple place, and so we had to make that adjustment. We had six regular season home games last year, 7 if you include the playoffs, and I guess this year it's going to be a while before we get home. So I didn't do a very good job in that, but I do like our competition that we play early in the season. I think it gets ready for district play.
Be remiss if I didn't ask you for an update on our great friend, everybody loves him, Alan Trimble. What's the latest? People don't, of course, coach with Lou Gehrig's disease, battling that as only Alan Trimble would, taking the high road and a great Christian faith, but boy, it's been tough.
Well, I was fortunate a couple weeks ago, towards the end of June, to get to visit with him. We were having a junior high camp out at Jenks, and oddly enough, he was down in the weight room. His daughter Tori was working out, and he was coaching her up. And Coach Trimble's doing well. He's in great spirits physically. You hate to see any decline that you'll see in him, but he's using it as a platform to help build his foundation and help underprivileged kiddos. And just like Coach Trimble would take every lemon, he's taken those lemons and made lemonade out of it.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what, he has done a great job for that, and I think all the coaches have embraced Alan for over the years and so on. Let me ask you this, Brennan, one more thing. Are you going to be an early transfer in December, and are you going to stay all year at Bixby?
I'll stay all year, and because I still run track in the spring, so track is a really big part of me since I've done that since I was little, so that's helped me also with football and stuff. So just being with the track team and just doing it for one last year, that's a big goal of mine.
What's your event in tracks?
I do the 4x1, 4x2, 4x4, and a long jump.
Are you as fast as your sister?
Yes, sir.
I bet Montgomery would be happy to hear that too. We have something for the coach here, right?
You bet. I can't give you one, Brennan, but
you're amateur still. So
I can give Loren this on us. Come back to Bricktown anytime.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You bet.
State playoffs 6 of the last 8 years, and state champion 14, 15, 16, 18. Keep it rolling, Coach. Great job. Very proud of you.
Absolutely. Thanks to you guys.
Congratulations again.
Brewery.
Go Cowboys.
Yes, sir. Go Bucks.
Again, great to have these two with us. Loren Montgomery, the head football coach of Bixby Spartans. Brennan Presley, who is the outstanding receiver, defensive back, and now heading to the Oklahoma State Cowboys. We come back with some soccer, youth soccer with national championship teams when we get back here.
Man, look, for us, Cowboy football is way more than just Cowboy football. This is who we are. We come to Boone Pickens Stadium as many, but in this sea of orange, we stand as one. And we all know what it looks like, the crowd roaring, arms waving, and bullet flying. It's the paddles popping, the shotgun firing, and the fans rocking. It's our passion, our heart, our family, and our team. Because at Oklahoma State, it's who we are.
Cheers.
All right, y'all, how's everything tasting?
That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
TU fans, football season is here, and the Golden Hurricane has one of the best home schedules in school history. Season tickets are on sale now, or purchase our 3-game mini plan. The plan includes in-state rival Oklahoma State, along with Navy on Military Appreciation Game, and 2-time defending league champion UCF, all for only $90. To get your tickets, call 918-631-GO-TU or visit TulsaHurricane.com/tickets.
Oklahoma sports scene from the Bricktown Brewery Restaurant in South Peoria, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Very pleased to welcome in the coach of the 2-time national champion TSC Hurricane soccer team. This is Christian Porto. Christian, congratulations. Nice to see you again, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Gil Cloud over
Glad
here.
You're here.
Yeah.
You bet.
Nice to meet you, Bill.
Give us first, Christian, some of your background as a soccer player and your whole family. Your dad was a great soccer player from Brazil, right?
Right. So I'm originally from Brazil, as you mentioned. I moved to Tulsa at the age of 14. So I did middle school and high school in Jinx. Went to college at the University of Dayton. And then after college, I pedaled around trying to play professional, live the dream. Nothing concrete came along, so I moved back to Tulsa around 10, 12 years ago. And the next best thing to playing is coaching. So that's when I started coaching.
So you've been coaching now for 10 or 12 years?
Yes.
Youth soccer?
Youth soccer,
Youth
correct.
soccer. Let's talk about youth soccer. How do you look at that over the last 10 years? Is there growth? Is it stable? Or where are we with that?
It's tremendous growth. I think, you know, Major League Soccer has grown tremendously, as you guys know. It's actually surpassed hockey in attendance. We have the minor leagues where the Roughnecks is playing. That's grown tremendously. I think we have about 40 to 50 teams in that league. And I think that growth of visibility has helped with our youth. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids are playing. And I think Tulsa is a good market for it. And especially with the Roughnecks, that gives kids a path to pro type
Mm-hmm.
of thing. So yeah, soccer is growing tremendously.
Good.
So.
Tell us about the TSC Hurricane group. They won a national title at 14. You did it again this year at 15. Talk about this team.
Absolutely. So obviously a very talented team. It's unusual. We travel to tournaments and events and championships, and they're like, "You guys are from Tulsa?" So yeah, it's really cool to represent not only our club but the community. And my team, they're warriors. They fight. They have great team spirit. They've been together for 8-9 years, ever since 8-9 years old. And I think that camaraderie that they built over these years has really helped them to be who they are today. So
these kids, where do they go to school? Now they all over town or all over the state?
All over town. Jinx, Broken Arrow, Union, Owasso. We have a Muskogee, Bixby. We have a kid that drives in from Oklahoma City. So really all over the place. So.
TSC Hurricane undefeated this season, by the way, and it's an incredible stature. They won their championship game, national championship game, on July the 15th in Commerce City, Colorado. The 3-1 win over Chicago's Eclipse Select. Tulsa beating Chicago. That's pretty good too. But in that 5-day national tournament, the TSC 15-year-old Hurricane team went undefeated, coach, and scored 10 goals in that 5-day. Talk about that. What a great job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so as you know, a 5-day event, 4 games, it's a lot of games. And really the mentality was take one game at a time. We had some tough teams to go against. They were really, even though we're the defending champions, they were considered favorites going into this showcase, this tournament. And the mentality again was take a game at a time, a minute at a time, and we'll keep moving forward. It's just the team. I go back to the team spirit, the desire to be the best, the never say die attitude. I don't know if you guys remember, about 2 years ago, we had unfortunately a accident that a lot of our members passed away. Lizzie and Izzy and Beck, and there's a couple others there, but they're all around my boys' age, 14, 15 years old. They would have been today, but Lizzie was friends with a lot of my players. They played the same age, and it kind of chokes me up a little bit to talk about it. Anytime this team needed a boost, we're down a couple goals, we need to win the game. We're down, we're tied, we need to win the game. We always chanted Lizzie strong, and it's nice. Funny that the team spirit came abroad, and I think it was really Lizzie that her spirit lived in us, in my players really, and to kind of close this out, Lizzie's dad, his name is Eric Edwards, is a friend of mine. Before the finals, he texted me, I believe the score today is going to be 3-1, and I had a dream that Lizzie was playing today.
Wow.
Dream or no dream, we won 3-1. She was there, so isn't that cool?
Well, the camaraderie I think is fantastic that this group is built, and so how do you keep them together for that many years?
Again, these guys been together. They've been friends for a number of years. They're best friends. Spend the night at each other's houses. They all have the same dreams. They all have aspirations, playing at the higher level. And I think when you put people that think alike together, anything can happen. So it's really just maintaining that desire to be the best they can be.
This TSC Hurricane program, by the way, another couple of numbers for you here. Without question, since 1991, the state's top program combined over 200 championships during that time, and over 70% of your players have gone on to play college soccer. Christian, great job. Great to have you on our Oklahoma Sports Scene show. We got something for you here.
Be our guest at Bricktown anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
You bet.
Christian Porto, the coach of the TSC Hurricane two-time national champion club. And give our best to Ashley and your father-in-law, Russ Farthing, good friends of ours too. How's that little girl of yours?
Little boy.
How old?
He's 2 years old. He's doing great. Hopefully national champion someday in soccer.
There you go.
He's got the soccer ball already, I'm sure.
He is. So.
Christian Porto, the coach of the two-time national champion TSC Hurricane. Tulsa's awful proud of him. Thanks for joining us again. We'll come back and talk another great international event in sports, the Tour de France bicycle race. Stay with us.
The service is amazing.
Food's delicious.
I love the avocado fries.
I love the energy.
Local beer, great food, truly friendly service.
Look all right for you?
Bricktown Brewery, come and get it.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Joined now by a familiar face, with us, of course, for Tulsa Tough, previewing our great bicycle race here in Tulsa. Malcom McCollam here, and he's not only Tulsa Tough, but of course he's been really locked in lately to one of the great cycling racing events in the world, maybe #1, the great Tour de France. Continues another week here over in France.
What a fantastic year this has been for the Tour. 15 stages down into the rest day today. The race is wide open, unlike some of the previous years where the former Team Sky, some referred to as the Death Star team, they're just not dominant this year. They're vulnerable, and other teams are just picking away at them. So it's going to be interesting to watch this last week and see who prevails in Paris.
And Malcom, you've actually been over there and experienced it. Talk about that.
Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. So about 10 years ago, I had the good fortune of participating in a tour group where we got to ride up some of the stages. In fact, the Tourmalet stage of 2 days ago, I had the pleasure of, or agony, of riding up that entire mountaintop, up to the mountaintop finish up there. Remarkable how tiny those roads are and how small that space is, those athletes.
Well, this final stage, where will it be?
Well, the final stage, of course, will end in Paris.
Right down the Champs-Élysées?
Down the Champs-Élysées. Quite a scene. It's
through the Arc, right?
Through the Arc, probably one of the most magnificent sights in any of cycling.
I tell you, I'm always so amazed at the endurance of these athletes. And the stages are just incredible, how long some of the stages are, but also the degree of difficulty as far as the climbs and stuff. And now the Alps, of course, in the final week now.
Been amazing. And of course, one of the things I've really enjoyed about this tour is the emergence of a couple of different riders. One, the yellow jersey, who's a Frenchman, Julien Alaphilippe. Now, mostly in recent years, these riders have been specialists. You've seen the Team Sky people that they only do stage races or only do what in cycling we refer to as the Spring Classics. Julien Alaphilippe rode 5 of the Spring Classics this year and won 3 of them, and he's leading the Tour de France. Such an amazing story.
What about the American influence? How are the American cyclists doing here?
Well, we only have 4 Americans that started the tour. One of them, TJ Van Garderen.
Our best one, right?
Well, our best one, he's crashed out. Somehow TJ seems to attract disaster, like flies on honey for some reason.
Yeah.
But, so Americans, not doing so great this year.
Is the sport clean now? Is it better? We went through all the thing, of course, with Lance Armstrong and all the controversy and all the investigations. How is the sport of cycling at that level of the tour?
Great question. I think probably it's most people think it's cleaner than it ever was.
Right.
I think the culture shift you have seen in cycling, where the insiders, where the cyclists are beginning to police themselves now. It's no longer acceptable to the majority of the riders to be dirty.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been a big culture shift that has helped the sport a lot.
No, that's great. Can you give us an update on Tulsa Tough and the Ironman?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. St. Francis Tulsa Tough was a good year, number 14. We had a record number of racers, Grand Fondo riders. We had about 2,500 Fondo riders and crit racers together, probably 50,000 spectators. We just had a fantastic year with the event. The weather cooperated. The storms seemed to just slide right by us miraculously, and so we're planning already for year number 15.
How about the Ironman? How much will you be involved in that, Malcom?
Well, hopefully none, because it happens 2 weeks before the St. Francis Tulsa Tough.
That's right.
But it's for us. Our attitude is anything that's good for Tulsa, we support. And I think the Ironman's going to be great, bring some additional eyeballs on our city, and it's obviously a very big marquee event. So kudos to the Sports Commission for being able to land that big fish.
We're going to try to get training for the triathlon, Coach?
No.
Have you done triathlons, Malcom, as well? Or?
In an era a long, long time ago.
Malcom McCollam, of course, he's the head of Tulsa Tough. Does a great job here with the city of Tulsa and bringing some of his insight into the great event, Tour de France. My wife's favorite thing to watch the Tour de France, not the cycling, it's like a travel log, the beautiful countryside of France and all the historic castles. It's amazing.
Can you believe some of those shots from the helicopter where they look down upon the chateaus and the wine regions and the big towers? Just absolutely spectacular.
Well, NBC Sports does a great job of covering it. Try to tune in. They have early mornings as well as they repeat it in the evening. It's worth seeing, especially the final day when they ride into Paris, go to the Arc de Triomphe, down the Champs-Élysées, and crown another Tour de France champion. Malcom, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me again.
Come back and be our guest again at Bricktown.
I'll do it.
All right. We'll be right back with our parting shots.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
TU fans, football season is here, and the Golden Hurricane has one of the best home schedules in school history. Season tickets are on sale now, or purchase our 3-game mini plan. The plan includes in-state rival Oklahoma State, along with Navy on Military Appreciation Game, and 2-time defending league champion UCF, all for only $90. To get your tickets, call 918-631-GO-TU or visit TulsaHurricane.com/tickets.
It's time for parting shots, and Gil Cloud starts us off.
I think the Oklahoma Coaches Association needs to really reevaluate when they have their clinic and their games. What's happened at the collegiate level is they take the college kids now that are going in as incoming freshmen as soon as they graduate from high school and bring them to campus. Those kids now become not available to play in the All-State game. So when we get to the All-State football, basketball, baseball, so on, they're not all the All-Staters that were selected. Those are the kids that are still there who didn't go to college early. I think we need to reevaluate that time. I think we need to move it up in the year and give us a chance to look at the very best players in the state of Oklahoma.
Well, you forget the recent heat wave is officially football time. I know this because when I go to the bookstore and I look and I see all these great college football magazines, I know the time is here. Preseason magazines are out. Here are some of the highlights for you. Lindy's Sports College Football, 232 pages. OU picked number 4. Jalen Hurts, the Oklahoma transfer, hadn't even started yet. They've already made him the quarterback on the cover, number 1 in the number 1 jersey, along with Oklahoma State star running back Shuba Hubbard. Athlon Sports College Football is 300 pages. OU picked number 6 there. Sooner receiver and kick return specialist CeeDee Lamb on the cover. Then the big one, Phil Steele's College Football Preview, folks. This is a whopping 352 pages, proclaimed the most accurate magazine over the last 21 years. And they have all the numbers, rankings, and statistics you could possibly imagine. Phil Steele power ranks Oklahoma number 7, Oklahoma State 44, Arkansas 73, Tulsa 95. So get your preseason magazines. Football is here. Coming up, our next show, which will end the month, our 5th show of the month, is a recap kind of highlight show. We'll take you back to the Big 12 Media Days, American Athletic Conference Media Days. Highlights there. The commissioner talks about the state of the Big 12. I have a special thing on college football rules, a very nice segment on ESPN with a look at the 150th year of college football, and Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame with a special video. Right now, we have something special, though. Oh. It is happy birthday time for Gil Cloud. All right, Coach. Bricktown's famous sizzling apple crisp.
Excellent.
Happy birthday, dear Gil. Happy birthday. All right, speech, Coach, come on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll be running for office next year to help the legislature fund education in the state of Oklahoma.
And again, he's got 2 new knees and a new hip. Go for another 50 years at least.
And make sure you tune in our next show because we'll find out if Gundy will cut the mullet or not.
And find out more from Coach Cloud of how he's rehabbing. He's doing a great job. Thanks for joining us on Oklahoma Sports Scene. See you next time for our special highlight show.